One of the keys to getting great bass is to use a good quality box, but let's be real for a second. Not everybody has the time or the tools or even the space to build their own subwoofer enclosure, so a lot of people buy a prefab enclosure. In fact, I did a survey of my channel and I found that 29% of my viewers have never built their own subwoofer enclosure. And that's why I've been reviewing prefab subwoofer enclosures here on my channel. And today I'm going to give you the most requested ever video on my channel. Y'all have been asking me for months to review the ProFab enclosure from Down for Sound, but I can't actually review one because they have been out of stock for months. But the Down for Sound shop does offer these enclosures preloaded with a Sundown Audio subwoofer. So when they went on sale for Black Friday, I scooped one up. So here is the video you've been asking for. Let's stop the yapping and get out to the garage and let's crack this thing open and see what it's all about. First things first, I want to comment on the packaging. It's got these plastic straps, which are a good thing that keeps the box from coming apart in shipping. The box has taken a little bit of a beating. It has these handles on the side, which I think is cool, makes it easy for you to move the box around. So I've done several prefab box reviews and you know that I've complained a lot about the packaging. Hey, there's my Down for Sound sticker, because stickers are always fun. They actually went through the trouble to put a little foam. It's covered in plastic. I'm gonna cut the sides down. That's generally the best way to get these things open. Oh yeah, there's the money shot right there. There's the preloaded Sundown Audio subwoofer. You can see it right there. Nice. So here it is. It looks pretty nice. I'm happy with what I've got here in front of me. Let's start off with checking the resistance of the coils. Let's see how this thing is set up. 1.5 ohms. I think it's cool when you push on the woofer how the impedance changes as the coil moves in and out of the magnet. AC electricity is fun stuff. Got my laptop out now and I've got the DATs hooked up. Just hook the test leads up, plug those into the DATs themselves. The DATs just goes into the USB port. And all you have to do is come in here, do right over here an impedance sweep. I don't know why it is, but everything that I try with the DATs, it's always tuned lower than specified. So I'm getting a really low tuning frequency on this thing, somewhere below 30 hertz, maybe as low as 28, which is pretty darn low. The website says it's tuned to 32 hertz. Now there's pros and cons to a low tuned box. The biggest con, of course, is SPL. You get more SPL in a higher tuned box. The biggest pro is it tends to sound a little better and get down to those nice nasty lows. If you like them low, this looks like it might be a good box for you. To give you a little perspective and some idea about the size of the enclosure, here are some shots with the enclosure next to its next closest competitor. That's the Q-Bomb box that I reviewed on my channel a little while ago. Of course, you can see right here the ProFab box is bigger than the Q-Bomb box in every dimension. As far as the terminal cup goes, it's a plastic terminal cup, which is standard for most subwoofer enclosures, even custom built ones. It uses screw down terminals that also accept a banana plug. Let's pop open the box and take a look at what's inside. First thing I want to point out is the wire. This thing has some nice thick 12 gauge wire, red for positive, black for negative. They did solder the wire to the terminal cup and they tinned the ends of the wire to make it easier to connect to the subwoofer. Overall, it's a really nice wiring job. I'm really impressed that somebody went through the extra time to wire this thing up correctly. One thing that I want to show you here inside the enclosure, if you look in the corners, all of the corners have a corner 45. This is the only prefab subwoofer enclosure that I have ever seen that has corner 45s. So this has been done right. This box has been built the way I would build it if I were building the box. Hey, I'm gonna put the dimensions right here on the screen for you. Looking at the port, it looks to be about 2 inches wide, and of course it runs the entire height of the enclosure. It does use 3/4 inch material all the way around. Looking inside the box at the port, we see the port wraps around the enclosure the exact way that I would design a port if I were designing one. The port looks to be about 28 inches long, and that kind of length is consistent with the very low tuning of this enclosure. Now the subwoofer itself, this is of course a Sundown Audio E-Series subwoofer. This is the 500 watt RMS version. It's a Sundown Audio subwoofer. Sundown has a great reputation, well known to produce some really good drivers. Let's get this thing back back in the box so we can give it a test bump. One thing you're gonna notice is I'm not using wood screws here, I'm using machine screws. And that means that whoever built this box for Down for Sound went through the trouble to put some T-nuts in it. All those little touches that make for an awesome subwoofer enclosure, this box has it. Now before I test bump it, I do have one little problem. As you saw, this thing is wired to 1 ohm, and the amplifier that I've got out in the truck right now is only 2 ohms stable. I would rewire the box to 4 ohms, but everything's soldered together and it's done right and I don't want to mess with it. Luckily, I've got this JP8 sitting around, so I might as well hook it up and use it. Oh hey, check out this clip light. Man, I love the clip light. Why don't more companies put clip lights on their amplifiers? This amp can easily do over 1,000 watts, so if you really want to see how much power this subwoofer can take, I'll make a video if you hit the thumbs up. It's test bump time. All right, so I filmed all that about a week ago and I've been riding around bumping this thing for a few days and I'm absolutely loving it. This box has been built properly. It's built the way that I would build a box if I were building it for myself. I can say without a doubt that this is the best prefab subwoofer enclosure that I've ever used. If you don't believe me, here's the full playlist of my prefab subwoofer enclosures. And hey, I want to say thank you to my patrons over on Patreon. I couldn't make these videos without their help. These are my $10 patrons right here, with a special shout out to $25 patron Dylan.